I made the most hated Scratcher, but why? A lot of people on Scratch tell me that my games are boring, trash, and even the worst thing ever. My feelings are severely hurt. So I came up with a plan to show these people what terrible games actually look like. Over the next 5 days, I'm going to be going viral as the most hated Scratcher by secretly tricking people into playing sinister projects and getting a combined total of 500 views on the account and rage bait as many people as possible. Today is day 1 and I'm just super excited. So I actually did some thinking beforehand and I came up with an idea for the first game that we're going to be making on this account. So imagine this. You're just a regular player. It's a regular game. You just go through the levels. So when you finally get close to the end of the game, you're super excited, right? But then suddenly there's just an impossible level and you just can't beat the game. Like, isn't that funny? So that's what we're going to be doing for our first game. But before we get started, actually, you might notice that my setting looks a little bit different. You've never seen this chair before my channel. I'm actually in the process of moving. I'm in Korea right now, moved out of America. This isn't my permanent house. This is just an Airbnb, but yeah. Okay, let's just get started coding now. I kicked off this day by signing out of my main account, Viiperrr, and creating a new account. After that, I started to think about adding in branding for this account, but I decided that I would worry about that later as making a game was more important. However, we still didn't have an idea for a game, so after a little while of thinking, I finally came up with this. So basically, there will be 10 mini games, and the player is given 10 seconds on each mini game. And if you can't complete a mini game in those 10 seconds, you lose. But you may be wondering where the impossible level comes into play. Well, I thought that through as well. So basically, somewhere in the middle of the game, we are going to make a mini game that looks like it's possible, but is secretly impossible. This will drive the player nuts, and they will try to finish this mini game, but with no success. It's such a perfect plan, and it's just so devious. But anyways, let's start coding. I started by coding in 4 different types of movement that would be used to create the 10 mini games: arrow key movement, mouse controls, platformer physics, and Flappy Bird physics. The way we switch between these different movement types is through this variable. It stores the current movement state, and depending on the variable's value, we change our movement accordingly. Anyways, this game is kinda boring and lacks any sort of intensity, so I added in a 10-second timer that is displayed on the top right corner of the screen. This was the key mechanic for our game, so I was glad to have it implemented. At this point, we had coded in the base for this project, so I knew it was time for level design. I hate level design, so this was basically my worst nightmare. I decided that level 1 would just be a simple level with arrow key movement. We'd start off easy with levels like this one, and we'd make our way up to the impossible level later in the game. Anyways, I continued by making level 2, which is just a level where you avoid enemies chasing you. This would be using mouse movement. But something I noticed was that if your mouse was in an awkward position when starting the level, since the player would instantly move there, it looked a little bit weird. I thought about this for a little while, but eventually I came up with a genius idea to fix this, but I would implement it later. The next level was a platforming level, and I just made this relatively easy with some spikes and walls. Now, the next level was level 4, and I was gonna make this one a Flappy Bird level. I was having trouble with the pipes though, because I was trying to keep my code neat and organized, and I had all the dangers in one sprite. I knew I could find a solution if I had just a little bit more time, but I had to log off for the day. And although day 1 went pretty smoothly, I could never have expected what would happen in the next 4 days of my life. Okay, hi guys, welcome to day 2. Today we're not gonna have much time. I know I say this in all my videos, but there's always just that one day where I don't have time. The reason I don't have time is because I'm gonna be visiting like the city, Seoul. We're probably gonna have like 1 hour to try to make the game. I think that's really all we need. Let's just get coding right now because this is important. Yesterday when I left off, I was having trouble with the pipes, but instead of assessing the problem at hand, I decided to just add in WASD controls first. But just a little while later, I started working on the pipes again. I realized the problem was with the spawning scripts. You see, to know when to spawn a pipe, I was using a script with the timer block, but since it was proving to be inaccurate at times, for some reason, I switched to manually making my own timer function using a variable. And it worked perfectly. Now it was time to add in level 5. I decided this would be another mouse level, but instead of having some triangle guys following you like last time, I would make it so that the player had to avoid some deadly lasers. But sometimes a laser would spawn on you with no warning, so I started making some exclamation marks that would warn you where they go. I didn't get this working by the end of the day, but I did make some good progress. So yesterday I went on the subway and I took a train to Seoul. After that we went to the city, we just viewed it and we had dinner and we came back. And that brings us to where we are today, day 3. I was actually planning to get finished with the game yesterday, so I think it's important that we finish the game today. Basically today we're not gonna need to do that much work for the game. It's just finishing like the 2 last levels and adding some polish and just sharing the game and promoting it. That's all we have to do really. So yeah. To start off day 3, I finished the exclamation marks. This was great and made our game feel much more fair and professional. The next thing that I did was add in the 6th level to our game. This would be another arrow key level, and since I was getting lazy, I made it pretty simple. At this point, I thought the game was getting long enough, so I decided that the next level, level 7, would be the impossible level. So I got to work right away. I made it a platformer level and made the impossible part a jump over the void. I made this jump look like it was possible and made the player painfully close to the goal to rage bait them as hard as possible. This was basically perfect and was pure deviousness. And to make it even worse, I named the game 10 seconds, 10 levels, so that the player always thinks that they're just missing out on a few levels, and it makes them play the game again and again and again and again and again, and still not succeed. But do you know what else many game devs find that they have to do again and again and again and again and still not succeed at? 3D modeling. It's literally a nightmare. Well, thanks to Meshy.ai, who happens to be the sponsor of this video, this is a thing of the past. Join over 5 million creators who trust Meshy.ai, the #1 AI tool for 3D creators worldwide. With just a few minutes and with a few clicks, you can turn simple text or 2D images into full-on 3D models. Let's try this real quick with this picture of Mario that I drew the other day. This is just a simple 2D image, right? Wrong. By simply uploading this to Meshy and giving it some time, we now have a fully 3D model of our Mario, which is absolutely crazy. And another plus of Meshy is how it's compatible with software like Unreal Engine and Blender. But right now, when we look at our Mario model, we don't see any color or texture. But this is really easy to fix. All you have to do is just click 2 more buttons. The Meshy 6 model dropped recently, which offers significantly better 3D model quality and precision. Another feature I really like is how you can batch upload images to 3D. It really speeds up your workflow and you can do up to 10 images at once. Although there is a premium version to get unlimited access, if you want to try Meshy for free, use the link in my description. And thank you Meshy.ai for sponsoring this video. Now the main game was basically done, but there were still a few things left to add, one of them being a start screen. This game started immediately when you hit the green flag, and it could be a bit confusing, especially with the timer counting down as soon as you load in. So I made it so that the timer is in the middle of the screen and that you have to click it to start the game. This way, we would introduce the clock concept and give the player ample time to prepare. This start screen also had another purpose. You remember when I talked about how if your mouse was in an awkward position when the second level started, the player would move there and it would look weird? Well, this start screen actually fixed this problem. You see, the timer is in the middle of the screen, so that means that after the user clicks it, the user's mouse will also be in the middle of the screen. I'm such a genius, and if you think so too, please like this video. Totally not begging for likes. I would never do that. Anyways, now I added in a thumbnail, which wasn't the best thing, but I thought it was okay. The next thing that I did was add in some music. I went searching for a little while, but eventually I found this song by a guy called Fredboy39. The picture is questionable to say the least, but the song is actually a banger. So shout out to this guy, Fredboy39, for making it. But now the game was complete, which meant it was time to share it. And that's exactly what I did. However, this was merely game 1, and later in this challenge, I would plan to create 2 more, each one getting better than the last. Each one with a higher chance of success. For the rest of the day, I just spent my time promoting the game and adding it to studios and asking people for feedback. Then I went to bed, ready to see an inbox full of frustrated players in the morning. Okay, so it is the end of, what day is it? 3? I have 3 games planned for this, a game tomorrow and a game after that. And the first game took 3 days. So that's gonna be difficult, but I think that we might be able to pull it off. I'm really happy with how the first game came out. It's just plain evil. Like, it looks like such a high quality game, but then like suddenly you just realize, yeah, this game is impossible, isn't it? And some people might not ever realize, so they just like leave unsatisfied, like they could never beat the game. It's just so funny. Last time I checked, we have like 12 views. I checked like a few minutes ago, but now my screen time ran out. And now I'm gonna talk a little bit about my channel. I want to talk a little bit about my channel, my life, some life update. Okay, whoa. So I actually ended up yapping for like 3 minutes straight and it's just way too long. I'll leave a link to my yapping session in the description of this video. But okay, continue the video. Hello, so before you guys actually watch day 4, I kind of wanted to give you guys a proposal. So the video that you're watching right now is not being edited by me alone. I actually have 2 editors working on it right now, Challenger10k and Katufa. I thought it'd be cool if for every subscriber that we get on this video, I'll donate 8 cents to Katufa and Challenger10k. So make me go bankrupt. And subscribing is also just a great way to help out the channel. Let's see if we got anyone to get mad. Let's just check the project comments first. This is extremely underrated. Super fun smiley face. Nice. This is difficult but fun. This is actually really cool. Dude, so cool. This is really cool. Yo, this is so good. This deserves at least 13,000 views and for it to be featured. So yeah, this is not the type of response I was expecting to see on this project. Anyways, the next thing that I did for this day was changing my profile picture in About Me. This makes me look so cool and nonchalant and handsome and mysterious, so I like it. But now it was time to start coding the second game for this video. I decided it would just be a simple car game where you try not to crash into other drivers. But the twist that made this game unfair was that if you died once, you would not be able to restart. Since the last game was a failure, I didn't have the biggest hopes for this one, but I knew that I still had to give it a chance. I started this game off by making some player art. And oh my goodness, this is actually so majestic. Why does it look so good? I would literally buy this car in real life. I wouldn't, but you get the point. The next thing that I did was add in this road that made it look like we were moving forward. This didn't add any actual impact to the gameplay, but it helped sell the vibe and car theme more. After that, I added in the player movement scripts. I made sure to make the player really drifty, and this really makes it feel like you're driving a car. Even though I've never driven a car in my life, so I wouldn't really know. But anyways, this was overall a cool effect and made the game more difficult as well. The next thing that I did was adding in tire marks to this driving game. They're very subtle, and just like most of the things we've added into this project so far, the tire marks are just for aesthetic purposes. Next, I decided to add in some trees to the sides to give a depth effect. Again, this doesn't add anything to the game. Looking back, I don't know why I started adding so much polish in the beginning. Like, I probably should have added in the game's core mechanics first. But oh well. I promise from now on, most things we're going to be adding are actually important. Anyways, I noticed while playtesting that the player can go partially off screen, and this would make it much easier to avoid enemies. So it's basically a cheat code. To combat this, I created an invisible barrier that stops the player from going too far. The next thing that I did was add in the other drivers. If you touched one of them, you would die and you wouldn't be able to restart the game. But something I noticed about these cars was that they all look the same. So I used a color effect block and a pick random block to randomize the colors of our cars. After that, I realized that the cars came in a bit too fast to react quickly enough. So I added exclamation marks to be fair to the player. This was a simple feature, but it was nice. Now we had the main game loop of our game complete, but there was still a little bit of work to do. One of the things we needed to add was a main menu. And one thing that I really liked that I did here was adding in a blur effect. I used Canva to do that and it was quite simple. But the coolest thing about the blur effect was that when you actually started the game, it kinda looked like it was unblurring because the car would be in the same position as the blurred version. Does that make sense? And also using Canva, I created a thumbnail and it looked sick. I can't lie. Now the only thing that was left for this game was the most important part, making it so that the player can't restart. This was actually really simple to do. And with this, I shared the game and started promoting it off camera, hoping that we would successfully ragebait Scratch. So when I woke up this morning, I checked my account, and when I looked at the game and what people thought of it, it was basically all just good things. Like, no one was giving me any hate at all. They were saying great game, awesome game, good job. Like, I'm literally trying to get hated here, but everyone just keeps on like supporting me. It's actually kind of crazy. I think I get more hate on the videos where I try to get people to select my games. It's actually, I don't even know what to do. But anyways, today is day 5, last day. Like, if we get one hate comment, I'd be happy at this point. I don't know what to do. But we have our final game. I'm gonna make one game today, and we'll just have to hope that this will just rage bait a bunch of people. I actually have an idea for this game, so let me just tell you about it right now. Hello. Okay, so yeah, this is where we're gonna be planning the idea. So one thing that I've realized a lot of people hate, especially from my games, is that I always make platformers, okay? And another thing that people hate are generic storylines. So we're gonna have a generic storyline for this game. That's gonna be the classic, oh yeah, your player, the cube, he's going on a journey to collect some random gem. But this isn't rage baity enough. That's why the third step that we're gonna add is the most important one. So third part. This game is gonna make you secretly the villain. And what's gonna happen in this game is basically the player is stealing the gem. And the gem is the thing that holds the world together. So by taking the gem, you're destroying the world. And you're a terrible person. And hopefully this will bring us at least one hate comment. Yeah. I'm not actually too confident in this plan, seeing as my other two games didn't even work at all. I thought they would work so well. But yeah, I guess they didn't.
I started our third game off by creating some Scratch Cat player art. I basically just turned Scratch Cat into a cube, and I know that it kind of looks like something that would come out of a nightmare, but every platformer needs a cube, so I think it'll be okay. The next thing that I did was add in some player movement, along with physics. But to have physics, we need some platforms, so I quickly added that in. After that, I decided to add in some dangers to this game as well, like walking enemies and spikes. These are pretty generic, and you can see them in practically all generic platformers, so nothing too special here. Now it was time to face my biggest fear, level design. I somehow managed to create 18 levels. I think this is a new record for me. I've never made this many levels, but anyways, at the last level, I included a gem that the player could collect. The entire game would be based around finding this gem, and so would the unexpected plot twist. Now that we had added all this, the only thing that was really left for this game were the cutscenes. I started by creating the intro cutscene that basically just sets up the fact that you want to find the gem. After finishing, I started working on the ending, but I'm gonna keep that a secret until the end of the video. So stay tuned for that. Now the game is basically finished. So just like I did for the other two games before it, I shared it and started promoting. This took a little while, and I did as much promotion as I had time for before the clock hit midnight. I knew that there was a slim chance that we would succeed at this point, seeing as we hadn't gotten any hate whatsoever. But despite that, I pushed on.
But before I show you the results of this challenge, let me show you the 3 games that we made over the course of the last 5 days. Okay, so it's the end of day 5. The challenge is over now. So you might be wondering if we went viral or not, if we got 500 views like I promised in the beginning of this video. Well, let me start off by just talking a little bit about my thoughts on this challenge. In the beginning, I wanted people to hate me basically, but I didn't really get anyone to hate me. I didn't get a single hate comment throughout this entire challenge. It's crazy. Everyone was just super positive and nice to me, which is just a shocker. Yeah. It's kind of nice that I didn't get any hate thinking about it. I guess the Scratch community isn't that bad after all. And people aren't actually that mean to me. I don't know. And now, did we get 500 views or not? I mean, quite obviously we didn't. I don't know. I don't know if that was supposed to be a shocker or something. I don't know if that was supposed to be some crazy information. We didn't go viral. So that's the video. Don't forget to subscribe. And probably the next time you'll see me, I'll be not in this Airbnb, but in a new apartment. This is killing my retention. I don't know. I just need to stop the video right now.
So yeah, we didn't succeed in becoming the most hated Scratcher, but maybe the reason why is because we were using Scratch. So I tried the worst Scratch knockoff and tried to go viral there. Click on this video to find out what happened.